guys, welcome to this week's pep talk, and this week we're going to be talking about how to stay objective, motivated and consistent with your self-development. But before I start, I just want to introduce you to this new format. Basically, I want to try and reach as many of you guys as possible, and we all consume media in such different ways. Some of you like video, some of you like audio, some of you like written. So I need to kind of spend as little energy as possible trying to get this free content out to you guys. So what I'm going to do from now on is record the video of me recording the podcast. So I'm about to hit play in a few seconds time, but this will be the format moving forward. So you basically get a behind the scenes kind of viewpoint of me producing and putting together the podcast. So I hope that works for you. Obviously subscribe to all channels if you want. It helps me understand if this stuff is working. But anyway, we'll crack on and get on with it. Here we go. Guys, welcome to this week's pep talk, where you get simple advice for life. If you're new around here, make sure you hit like and follow for straightforward tips on how to slow down, unlock energy and master time. In this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about how to stay objective, motivated and consistent with self-development. But first of all, what's the problem we need to try and actually fix today? Well, I think every day you can wake up with two hopes. I'm kind of like this. Let me survive and make it through the day in one piece, quickly followed by, let me have the motivation and energy to not just survive, but to actually also thrive. I want to live my best life. Our days rarely go as planned, and often it's our own personal interests, dreams, and healthy habits that get sacrificed first. And it's hard to live with this lack of consistency when trying to improve our health and nurture our self-development. The pressure of life and the constant state of busy can become exhausting, so tiring in fact that you lose the strength to keep all the plates spinning as you watch them prepare to come crashing down consistently. It's in these moments that self-doubt asks, let's try that again, shall we, people? It's in these moments that self-doubt asks you one simple question, my friend. Do I have what it takes? With a quick response usually of, no, I don't, and I'm scared that I never will. Motivation evaporates for everything, goals disappear from the horizon, and yet again, you're waking up with the hope of just making it through the day in one piece. Look, I genuinely believe that no one ought to feel this way. Life is and should always be one of constant exploration for you. When your courage embraces challenges and your challenges give rise to the realization. I'm going to start that sentence again, if that's okay. I'm going to start that paragraph again, if that's okay. No one ought to feel this way, people. And life is and should always be one of constant exploration for you, where your courage embraces challenges and your challenges give rise to the realization that no matter what the outcome is, you are enough. I love that sentence, and that's just why I wanted to kind of make sure I said it with clarity and decisiveness. Big words from me today. So here's the thing. How can you stop losing to being so busy and start feeling content with your progress? Because when you feel content with your effort and performance, the results don't really matter. Well, it's funny you ask. It's time to get out of your head and onto paper by creating a daily performance journal that will provide you with an objective feedback in your loop. Will it provide you with an objective feedback loop in your life to ensure consistent motivation and growth? The reason this works is because giving yourself feedback in the company of your own psychology is like trying to listen to your favorite band while at the same time your worst enemy stands in front of you screaming life advice. It doesn't work. I don't know what I think of that analogy, but we're gonna run with it, people. You know this already though, right? How many times have you had a problem, spoken to a friend with a similar problem, and then been told you should listen to your own advice? Your friend and that conversation, for the best part, was an objective feedback loop. You could also boil therapy down to this as well. So, hear me on this. This is the important bit. Your brain has a fantastic gift, and that's its ability to recognize similarities and patterns between things. And it does this best when presented information externally and objectively with the right cues. Again, CC therapy. Cues in this case being questions you predetermine on a template, and we'll get to this template shortly. When our brains are left to thought alone, human nature takes over and our own psychology can be the very thing holding us back. By tracking and maintaining a performance journal and asking the right questions, you can compare notes and begin to see contradictions. Once you have two contradictions, you can find one problem. And with one problem to solve, you can start to tweak one problem to solve. And with one problem to solve, you can start to tweak old ideas and come up with new ones to move towards results. Just going to take a sip of water, people. This is hard work. Again, think of a time you talked through a challenge with a friend, right? And they've pulled you up when you've contradicted yourself. Et voila. You both begin to explore the problem for a resolution. Your journal is that friend who is ready to sit down with you in a quiet place and help you achieve results daily. By creating this system in your day, which can take as little as a few minutes, you will be able to look back and identify what worked and what didn't. With this insight, you will be able to objectively critique this information and create the improvements needed for tomorrow based on the lessons you have learned. This is the development stage of self-development that will help you take the steps towards feeling content and believing in your actions, leading you towards your goals. Even if you don't have a good day, the better you get at assessing what, the better you get, the better you will. Should we start the sentence again? I'm down. You up for it? Let's do it. Let's give it a go. Even if you didn't have a good day, the better you get at assessing why, the more in control you will feel and content you will become in the effort you've put in, opposed to the results you get out. The more accepting you are of effort over outcome, the higher your motivation is going to be. I'm losing my ability with words today, people. The more accepting you are of effort over outcome, the higher your motivation is, because your happiness and success doesn't rest on win or lose. I am going to repeat that, right? I know we're going to hover around the sentence for a while now, but the higher your motivation is, because you're happy. The more accepting you are of effort over outcome, the higher your motivation is, because your happiness and success doesn't rest on win or lose. There we go. We got there in the end. You think you're going to get some lovely, edited version of this, aren't you? No. Authentic. I hate that word. Now we know the why. Let's break down the how, right? So 1, you need to create a performance journal. Paper or digital is fine, with a template for each day. Write out questions on that template that will cue you to assess your day objectively. Examples of this can include wins and celebrations, lows and challenges, improvements. One of my personal favorite, what tasks am I ignoring that I know need to get done? We spend so much energy, people, ignoring thoughts, feelings, and emotions, trying to put unfinished tasks to the back of our head, unfinished conversations, unsaid things that need to get said and need to get done. And that consumes energy, right? And I'd say it consumes more energy than actually just getting the thing done in the first place. So getting things out of our head and stop ignoring them is absolutely critical to helping us switch off in life and, not helping us not feel so mentally drained. So I ask myself kind of what my mental bottlenecks are at the moment, the things that I'm ignoring. Another question could be, based on what did and didn't work today, what actions do I need to take tomorrow for better results? Another question, what's the one thing under my control that will influence my energy for tomorrow? Questions will evolve over time, right? And find the ones that speak to you. If you are struggling, imagine you are catching up with a good friend about their tough day. How would you talk them through it and try to help them reframe for a positive outcome? Choose a time in your day that you can build into your routine to complete this review. It could be the last thing you do before finishing work, or as you begin to unwind before going to bed. So I do mine personally at about 6 o'clock every day as I'm finishing work, and then trying to switch off to then spend time in the evening with loved ones. If you find building this routine into your day hard, which it will be at first, right? That's completely normal. Try stacking the habit on something that already exists, or something that's already automatic in your life. So for example, when my bath is running at night, existing habit, I complete my journal, new habit. Or after I brush my teeth before bed, existing habit, I spend 10 minutes completing my journal, new habit. Be precise and elaborate with your journal. This is really important, guys. You do not have to write war and verse. A couple of bullet points can be enough, but it's crucial that when you look back on what you've written, future you should be able to understand what you've written. Something like training was crap, or I did amazing at the presentation, doesn't give future you much to go on. If you're anything like me, that feedback could cover 100 days. Instead, I delivered a presentation with X and I don't think it went well because of Y. Like an iceberg, the mass of what's really going on lays deep beneath the surface. You could take this one step further and elaborate on each answer with the 5 whys. If it didn't go well because of why, ask why that is, and then again, ask why of the next answer, and keep digging until you get to the root of the problem. And here's an important thing. It may only take a couple of whys, so don't stress about using them all up. When I first started doing this, I was like, I've got to get to 5. I've got to ask 5 whys. Like, why? Really, really important though, right? It may only take 1 or 2 whys. Next thing to take into account can be summed up by my favorite quote, and that's "Don't think, feel" by Bruce Lee. And that's a favorite quote because it reminds me that the mind convolutes, and being able to feel what's happening in our bodies and with our intuition is a great skill to possess. However, language is everything to us humans. If I asked you the same question 2 different ways, I'd likely get 2 different answers. What do you think about your performance today versus how do you feel you performed today? One forces us to be objective, the other draws from the heart, where emotions may cloud the simple answers we need. Take this into account when taking yourself through scenarios in your daily feedback journal. Next up, what you're going to do is you're then going to create a second template for the week with the same questions you ask yourself daily. And at the end of your week, do a review of all the days and fill in your weekly template. Then create a third template with the same questions for the month that does a review of just the weeks. You could keep expanding this method into quarters and then years. Imagine being able to sit down in December and look at 4 summaries of Q1 through Q4. Imagine how powerful that data would be for helping you set your goals for the following year. You would feel even more motivated to achieve them because you have a clearer understanding of how to achieve desired outcomes. But you could also look back and just see how much effort you've put into your life and reward yourself for that effort. My final thought on this is don't sweat the days you miss. Really important, right? Because you will miss them. Try to follow the 2-day rule where you don't miss, you guessed it, more than 2 days. But again, don't stress. Well-being and self-development is a lifelong game. So focus on trying to hit more days over a lifetime than not. Well, that's my simple advice for today, to equip you with a simple strategy for staying motivated in your self-development. And with that consistency comes long-term and lasting results. As with any learning curve, you will spend more time on this at the beginning, having to draw on the energy and time to make things happen. However, if you look back and consider what I've shared, you will see how little effort this takes to complete once it becomes embedded in your day. It takes me 5 minutes, and my end of week review takes me about 20 minutes. Your strategy to take action today is to reflect on the ideas presented, assimilate these ideas into your day, execute this now to get from where you are to where you've always wanted to be. And I'll finish off because I was reading Glennon Doyle's book the other day, Untamed. She talks about 2 fears she consistently identifies in people she meets, and I've got to agree. People do not want to live without ever finding their purpose, and people do not want to die without ever finding their true belonging. If you continue to stay in your head and beat yourself up about lack of motivation and consistency, you run the risk of giving into these fears. On the other hand, if you create a performance journal, you will be consistent and motivated, therefore much happier with the effort you put in and the guaranteed progress you will make in life. I challenge you to take action now. Let me know how you get on. Keep me in the loop. Ask me questions. Let me be an objective feedback loop. You can catch me at The Wellbeing CEO. You can email chevy@chasingprojects.com. I'm here to help you in your journey. I will catch you in the next one, people. Take care. Bye. We're done. Oh God, it's hard work, this voiceover, this talking business. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. As always, you're going to be the first to see this stuff via the newsletter and via the YouTube channel. Again, please do hit like, hit subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know if you have questions. Let me know if you need problems that you need a pep talk for. I'm here to help you. You've heard it all before. I will catch you in the next week, in the next one, for behind the scenes of whatever it is I do in life. I have no idea. Take care, guys. All the best. Bye.